Today we are going to see some concepts in file handling. Okay. Now, yes, till yesterday we had seen all operations within a program. Everything is in memory. Today I am going to show something that we are dealing with files. A file is something like a text file. Python can deal with text file, comma, binary file. A binary file can be image, audio, etc. exe files. We are not going to take binary files in this session. We are going to take only text file, and we are not going to deal with binary files also in our portion. So in a file, typically what will you do? First you have to open the file. Either you can write or read, then finally close. So the sequence is open, read or write, then finally close. This is the operation in files. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to show you how to open a file, how to read, write to a file, how to close the file. Now I am going to say S is equal to input of give a line. Okay. Before this, let me do one thing. Okay. I want to first open the file. To open the file, you need to use the command open. The first argument I need to give is the file name. Let me give a file name d colon. Always give, when you give backslash, give double backslash as escape character. Escape character means it will not, it will treat backslash as backslash, not as a, otherwise if backslash type.txt, then backslash t will be taken as tab. To avoid all those things, you have to give one more slash. Now I'm going to say mfile.txt. This is my file. First, you have to give the file name. Now, the second parameter can be the first. There is a second parameter. In the second parameter, first character, if you give w, it means write. What is meant by write? I'm going to show you. Then the next character t, t means text. If you give b, it will become binary. If you give t, it is text. We are going to deal only with text file. First character w means write. Okay, w is write. And this open command returns a file handle. A file handle meaning it will show, it will have some pointer to the file. When I say pointer, it is almost like you, out of so many files in your rack, you have to say that file and that file, that page. So you have to indicate, it's like an indicator. Let me also print type of f, okay? Then you will understand what it is. Now what I'm going to do is, as I said, once you open the file, there are two parameters, file name, w means write, t means text. It returns a file handle. You should always, you can open hundreds of files. If you open 10 files, you have to have f1, f2, f3, f10, something like that. As I said, once you open the file towards the end, you have to close the file. But to close the file, you have to say f dot. If you open two files, f1 and f2, f1 dot close, f2 dot close. So file handle dot close. Every file you open, you have to close. It's a correct practice. Otherwise, if the file is left opened and something happens to the program, there is a chance of corruption also. So always better keep it, once you open, finally ensure your program closes it. Now, after opening, I'm getting a string from the user. I want to write this thing to the file. To write that, always again f dot, to write to the file, f dot write, and then pass that yes. Because to write to a file, you have to say write. F dot write, always in, once it is opened, after that for all file operations, f you have to use. If you use two files, f1 and then F2 because it doesn't know to which file it has to write, to which file it has to read. So you need to give the correct file handles. Now I am getting another string. Let me also just copy this. I will get another string, give first line, okay? Give first line, give second line, okay? Now let me save this, okay? P files. Now I am opening the file, getting the string from the user, writing to the file, getting another string, writing to the file. I am passing that string to be written. Finally, I am closing. So D colon, I will go here. This is my D drive. The file doesn't exist, okay? Now I go here. The file, my mfile.txt doesn't exist. Now let me run this. It ran. The type is class IO text IO wrapper. That is like you are getting int string. File handler is of this type, text IO wrapper, because it's a text file. Now I'm saying the first line, hello, how are you? Okay, this is the first line. Then it asks me second line, I am fine. 2 lines it asked me, I gave 2 lines. Then the program has written that line and then finally it closed. Now I go back to the directory. The file was not existing before, it created the file. Write command, if the file does not exist, it will create the file. So when the file does not exist, it will create the file. Then every line you write, it will write to the file. Now I will open the file. Okay? You open the file. It says, hello, how are you? I am fine. It is writing in a single line. Okay. It is writing in a single line. That's a problem for me. I was expecting this to be written in this one, this to be written in this one, like this. Okay. Now let me delete this content and then put my some junk characters here and then save it. So the file is existing. It was having some data in it. I am going back to my program. Now, if you want to add a line, right, end of line, then you need to always do this \n. \n meaning when I say plus, it will concatenate. Let us see how it works. Concatenation meaning appending. Appending to the string, adding to the end of the string, I am putting \n. So I am getting the first line, that string and \n. \n is equal to your enter key. Another line, I am putting that \n and then writing it. Now let me run it. The file exists. The file has some value already in it. Now I am running. Give first line, hello. Then second line, I say hi. Then it got the 2 inputs. It finished it. Now I am going back. Now the file is there. I am opening that file. See, previously I typed some junk characters. It erased that data. It put hello in the first line, then it put hi in the second line. So write does 2 things. If the file does not exist, it will create the file once again. If the file exists, it will erase the previous content and then write it afresh. So when you are using write W mode, you have to be very careful that if the file content will be erased if you use W mode. You have to be very, very careful. Now, W is write. Is this clear? Just open the file, write to the file, close the file. Very simple commands. But I want something like, no, I don't erase the previous content. Let the content be there. Whatever content I am giving new, you have to keep adding to the end of the file. In that case, you have to use A for append. Like you use W for write, use A. Open the file mfile.txt. In append mode, it's a text file. When you use append mode, it will add it to the last line. It will keep on adding to the end of the line. So the end of the file. It will not erase the previous content. Now let me run it. It is asking for the line, right? For you, I'm an Indian, okay? I gave 2 lines. Previously, the file was having hello in one line, hi in another line. Now I opened it in append mode. Now I am adding 2 lines to that. Let us open it. Look here. In write mode, it was erasing, whereas in append mode, it didn't erase the previous 2 lines. Rather, it added these 2 lines. This is append mode. Append mode is safer, and write mode, suppose your functionality requires erase the previous content, you can still use, absolutely no issues. But you have to be careful. If the file contains some valid data or valuable data, you are not supposed to erase it, then you need to be a little bit careful. So you can only write and append. There is nothing like change the 5th line. That is not possible because this is called a sequential file. Sequential files, you can either keep on adding to the end, or you can add it from the beginning by completely erasing. In between, manually only you can do. There is no way that you can add in between. Okay. Is the append mode clear? Good. Just the same keywords except one parameter instead of W, make it A. That's all. Now I want to read, right? Somebody is asking, when we don't have the file created, will append work? Try. So you try. So you use the same program and then try to open in append mode, see what happens. Okay. I'm saying because most of the questions, as I said, when it comes to programming, absolutely no harm in trying it. I will push it back to you so that you do it with your hands. I know the answer, but I don't want to give the answer. I want you to do so that you will remember it forever. And this is by learning by doing. That's always good. Now, the third mode is read. R for read. I want to read the content of the file. If you want to read the content of the file, R means read only. I am not going to write anything to the file. Read only. For reading, I don't have to give any write line because I'm not going to write it to the file. I'm going to read from the file. But these commands are same. Open is same, close is same. Only thing is this one character just varies. Now, if I want to read, I have to use, if I want to read a line, say read line, but you have to use f dot. Pretty much you say f dot write, you have to say f dot read. When you are saying read line, it returns the line read. Okay, I say L. L is equal to f dot read line. Print L. Now, let me run it. I am opening the file in read mode. I am issuing command read line from the file. Any file operation, you should give the file handler first, f dot, and then give that command. Write line, you need to pass something to it. Read line, return something, what is the line read. Now let me run it. You know the content of the file, hello, how, something like that. Now let me run it. So it has read the first line. It is saying hello here. So one time I give the command read line, it will read the first line. Now let me do for the second time. I copy paste the same command. Let me run it. So here, first read line read this, second read line read this. But I do not know how many lines are there in the file. So if you do not know how many lines are in the file, but you want to read all the lines of the file, that's a simple thing. It is a repetition. For repetition, you have to use for loop. For L, very simple syntax. For L in F. This is a very simple syntax, that's all. Print L. I did previously used to give range. How many lines are there? Count the number of lines for so many times. Do read line. No need to do any other that numbers and all. To read all the lines one by one from the beginning to end in a file, the syntax is for L, the variable, in F, the file handler. It will go to the file handler internally. It will check how many number of file lines are there. It will automatically loop so many times and then print the line red. Okay, this L will keep on the line red as a value. Now let me run it. Look here. Hello, hi, how are you? I'm an Indian. So it is reading all the lines one by one and then it is showing this to me. Now I go to this file. I add one more line, okay? This line is additional, okay? I'm closing. Now it is having 5 lines. In the program, I have not given any loop in terms of 1 to 5 range or 5 range or 6. I never given. All I gave is for L in the file handle F. Print the line that is red. Now let me run it. See, now it is able to run everything. See, this is the, somebody is asking what is the type of. Type is this, type of that file handler. So the type is the file handler. I printed like you have got string or int or date as a type. When you have the file handler, what is the type of the file handler, data type? I just printed the type of file handler. That's all. Just for the academic sake. Okay. This is not coming from the file. Okay. This is just a type of the file handler, not from the file. So for reading, you have to use R. For writing, you have to use W. For appending, you have to use A. If you want to read all the lines, this for. Is this clear? Read, write, and append. Now, let me do one more stuff. I am going to the folder, okay, removing the file. Okay, I am removing the file. Now I am going to run it. When I ran it, it says it is getting into an error. No such file or directory. It is giving error number 2, file not found error. It is giving me that error information. Okay. So this is called the exception. As long as the file is there, you will not have any issues, but it is getting into an exception. So what I am trying to do is, let me put a, see, I am going to put a command here, a print command, print I program ended, okay, program ended. So this is a command. And then I am going to print a line here, print file is opened, okay. So if the file is successfully opened, this will be executing, this will be read, this will close, then finally it will say program ended. Now there is a problem that the file doesn't exist. So what happens if we run it once again? It is not printing any of the statements. It's direct. The moment this line gets into an error, this is not printed, this is not executed, program just stops. This is called abort. Program is aborted or program is abending. This is a problem. This is called the exception, program bombing. So if the file doesn't open, I should not abort. All I should say is, okay, something has happened. I should gracefully exit. At least I should say program ended, but I should print with some good message and then end it. I cannot just abruptly stop saying some error. Now, to make sure that you are handling such unforeseen issues, it is called exception handling. Exception handling in Python is done by a command called try. You put try colon, okay, then put all the statements underneath the try, okay. I'm putting all the statements underneath the try. Try meaning first execute this. When you are executing, there is one more statement called except. Try and except go together. Try, you put all your statements. If any problem happens in any of these statements, do not just abort, come to the except block. In except, I'm printing print some issue in opening the file, okay. So I'm printing a graceful message, not a bad error message and then coming out. I'm printing it. Finally, I'll do this one. Okay. The syntax is try colon all your statements, then except what is the message or thing that you should do if this bombs. Then let me execute this. Look here. Previously, when I didn't have the try except block, it was saying this and then it was appending or aborting. Now, the same program did not error out. It is printing this good message, some issue in opening the file. Finally, it executes the line program ended. Because your program may have hundreds of lines. Just because of one error, it cannot just like that come out of it and then throw error. It has to come out gracefully. So, if this fails, control comes here. Somewhere if this is having an issue, it will come here. Any error you get, it will come here. Success, it will execute everything. Exception, it will execute this. Success or exception, this will come here. There is one more usage like this, finally colon, okay. You do this, if successfully executing, no problem, execute this block. If there is a problem in any of the statements here, execute this. Whether success or failure, finally do this. After handling the exception or successfully writing the executing it, do this finally. Okay. Now, let me execute, right? Let me write, let me run. Now it says some issue in opening the file, program ended, because there's an error. Now, let me go ahead and then create the file. Okay, let me go ahead and then create a file. What is the name of the file? M file, right? Hello, Control S, I'm putting say pfile.txt. Now, the file exists. This time it will not have any exception. Now let me go back and then run it. Run it. Oh, what file I had? I have given M file or P file. I think M file. So I need to rename the file as M file. Okay. Now let me execute it. Run. Now the file is successfully opened. Hello G it printed. It said program ended. It did not print this because there is no exception that happened. Only when exception happens, this except block will be executed. If it is success, try block is executed. In both the cases, it will execute the finally block. Three simple keywords, try, except, finally. whenever you are dealing with files, right? One person is asking without finally also it executed, because see, without finally also you can execute, not an issue. This is a part of the code. If it is here, it is part of the main code. Try except finally, this is a block, okay? Finally, it is up to you. He is giving a way to execute this print statement. Don't take it to the, you can put anything here. I am just giving an example. Any line here you want to do, rather the if there are hundreds of lines, I will not put under finally. If it is one or two lines, I will put under finally. So it is like a block. It looks so modular. That is why they are giving try block in case of successful execution, except block in terms of exception, finally block very specific to these two. Anything below finally, for example, I have finally, under this finally, I have this message, right? File is done, okay? Now I am putting program ended outside finally block, okay? This is a very specific only to the file operation. I may do so many things else here. There may be hundreds of lines here. You may have some other logic, but if I execute this, this is the try block, this is the finally block, this is the main program end. So it is up to you to give proper messages, whether you want to give it under finally, whether you want to give it under try, whether you want to give it under except, it is up to you. There was one more question. Somebody asked, say, is there any predefined errors? Yes, if you read the Python documents, see, there is something called file not found error, directory not found error. Because in a file, you may not have write access, you may try to do a write operation on that file. So there may be access issues. So there are a lot of, if you go through the documentation of Python, you will get tons of this predefined errors. So you can say, except this file not found error, do some logic. Directory not found error, do some logic. Access rights not available, do some logic. So you can have multiple except blocks for a single file, okay? Single try block. I can have except block 1, except block 2, but typically we may not be dealing a whole lot. But why we took this try except finally, because whenever you are dealing with file operations and database operations, you necessarily must use this thing, because what error will come at what time you cannot predict. We are all human beings, will make mistakes. So exception handling is a must for database operations and file operations. Any numeric operations, you are dividing, you are multiplying, you are raising to the power, logarithmic sign. If you give a bad argument, that also will bomb. So whenever you are dealing with a lot of numeric operations, also do with a try except. That is also important. So numeric operations, file operations, database operations, right? See, somebody is asking, can we print the error in specific rather than generic, like file not found, please check if the file path exists. So you can do it, yes. That logic is up to you. What exception you want to say, for example, except file not found, you have to give like this, then you can print one message, except directory not found, you do something. So you can give different error messages for different exceptions. That is up to you. How many levels of proper error messages you want to give, you can give, not a problem at all. Okay, you can have that. So this try, except, finally is optional, but whenever you are giving try, not always give except. Try without except cannot exist. Except without try cannot exist. But finally is an optional class, either way, okay? So net, in file you open in read mode or write mode or append mode. Finally you close. You write, you read. To read all the lines, you have to say that for loop and then give the file handle. Make sure you close all the files you opened. Don't forget to do that. Always use exception handling of this try except block whenever you are dealing with files or uh, numeric operations, because the moment you are putting very large number and then try to execute, it may have an issue. When you are accidentally divided by zero, you will have an issue. So in those such numeric operations, definitely use try catch, because you never know what values you will get at runtime. So your program will have an issue.